Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacha Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi. On Friday last, we read up to Sutra 13 from the third chapter called Vibhutipad. I shall read that sutra again. One thing I have to point out that up to Sutra 12 is the relevant topic from sadhak's point of view. That means concentration, what is samadhi, what is ekagrata, what is nirodh. This has been explained in 10, 11, 12. Now, from 13 onwards, we are entering the field of vibhutis, these different powers, which I told you are the byproducts and which you have to take care of, not to succumb to them. And so, even if you do not understand, it does not matter. We don't want them. So now we are entering the field of vibhutis. The Sutra 13, 14, 15, 16, the first vibhuti will be told in Sutra 16. 13, 14, 15 is the build-up, introduction to that vibhuti. Now with this background, let me start. Etena bhuta indriyeshu dharma lakshana avastha parinama vyakhyata. Etena means the previous explanation of samadhi ekagrata and all that. Bhuta means matter, indriya means our organs. They undergo three types of modifications. Dharma, lakshana and avastha. We'll tell now. Vyakhyata. They become explained by what we are told up till now. The different modifications happening in matter and in our indriyas are explained. Now let me tell you what are these modifications. Swami Vivekananda has explained it to the best of his ability. The Vyasa Bhashya is not useful so much at this time. By this is explained the threefold transformation of form, time and state. Dharma is form, Lakshana is time, Avastha is state. In fine or gross matter, Bhuta is both fine and gross matter, and Indriyas, and in the organs. By the threefold changes in the mind stuff as to form, time and state, are explained the corresponding changes in gross and subtle matter and in the organs. So first three states of the mind stuff, and now through mind stuff we perceive everything. So we'll find the three corresponding changes in gross and subtle matter in the indriyas also. Now what are the three forms? Suppose there is a lump of gold. It is transformed into a bracelet and again into an earring. These are changes as to form. The same phenomena looked at from the standpoint of time gives us change as to time. That means now it is this, then it is this. This is the time has changed. Yesterday the world appeared like this, today it appears like this. 5 minutes before my mind was like that, today, now after 5 minutes it is like that. So this is time. Again, the bracelet or the earring may be bright or dull, thick or thin, and so on. This is change as to state. Now, the mind stuff is changing into vrittis. This is change as to form. Mind stuff is going on in waves and waves and waves. So this is called change as to form. Because we have already heard in the first chapter, vritti sarupyam itaratra. So we appear to be like the vrittis. So that is the change of form, of mind, of matter, of indriyas, everything. Vrittis. That it passes through past, present, and future moments of time is change as to time. These waves are different today, tomorrow, or now after 5 minutes. So this is called Lakshana. That means now it is like that, now it is like that. So this is change as to time. That the impressions vary as to intensity. Within one particular period, say present, it changes as to state. That means sometimes this wave is very strong, sometimes the wave is very weak. So this is called avastha. So our perceptions, our mind and our perceptions through the mind, whether of matter, gross, subtle, or of our indriyas, all is together, is changing. Firstly, different vrittis. Secondly, now like this, then like this. Thirdly, sometimes strong vrittis, sometimes weak vrittis. This is happening to our mind, and same thing happens to our perceptions of our perceptions you have to add. Our perceptions of gross or subtle matter are to indriyas. Then what happens? Shant 14 Sutra. Shanta Udita Avyapadesha Dharma Anupati Dharmi. Dharma means these forms. Now, Shanta means past forms. That form, the vritti which has gone, is called Shanta. Udita, that which is at present, is called Udita, arisen. Avyapadesha, that which is yet to come, that is called future, is called Avyapadesha. Now, these three types of dharmas, we have seen dharmas means vrittis. Anupati, following them, is our mind or we. Our mind changes corresponding to the past, present, and future vrittis. Okay, very clear. Anupati means follows them. Dharmi means the substance which has these qualities. Dharma is the qualities. Dharmi means the substance which has these qualities. So the waves are in the mind, and so dharmi here is the mind. 15 now. Kramanyatvam parinama anyatve hetu. Parinama anyatve. That means we saw three types of changes. We saw the vritti changes, we saw the time changes, we saw the intensity of vritti changes. On what does it depend? It depends on a particular order in which the waves are rising. Krama anyatve. Krama means the order, anyatve being different, the parinama or the modification becomes different. Because the order, that means the succession. Order means the succession. Now the vritti is like this, now the vritti is like that. So this succession makes the different types of dharmas, different type of forms, different type of changes. Hetu means reason. Reason or cause of these changes is the order in which they are going on. Now comes the Sanyama and the Vibhuti. Parinamatraya Sanyama. The perception has become so subtle by concentration and concentration. The perception has become so subtle that we are able to clearly perceive these transformations. We are able to perceive this wave is rising and then that wave is rising. We are able to perceive now this wave and then this wave. We are able to perceive that this wave is strong or weak. So these are called Parinamatraya. And on these changes, we concentrate. Sanyama, you understand? Dharana, Dhyan, Samadhi. First, we concentrate on this to the exclusion of anything else. The concentration becomes penetrative. It reaches its culmination. This is called Sanyama. So, we are concentrating not on a particular object. We are concentrating our own mind in a way, but we are observing the changes. We are observing the different types of changes in our mind with full attention, with full concentration. What that will give us? Anagata Jnanam. We will know our future. Anagata means that is yet to come. Jnana means knowledge. If we can perceive the changes, what was yesterday, what is today, what is going to come, we shall know all the future. If we can concentrate on any point of time, the past, present and future, if you can concentrate on this point particular, the past, present and future, then it will reveal to us the entire future. This is what Patanjali tells as the first vibhuti. Are we interested in that? Should we indulge in that? Then we lose our goal. It may be a great thing in the world to know the future, but not in our attempt at Kaivalya or the goal of life. That Patanjali will tell later on. So this is the first byproduct which is reached by tremendously concentrating mind. It concentrates on the succession of waves through succession of time. So this is the first vibhuti. It gives us knowledge of all the future. Now we go to 17. We are not going to waste time here. Only you understood that apparently wonderful, apparently super sensuous, apparently miraculous. That is why somebody tells the future easily. It does not require astrology or palmistry to show the future. Just this concentration, which is not easy at all. But if we can concentrate the mind to this extent, we shall know the future. Now 17. Shabda Artha Pratyayanam Itaretara Adhyasa Sankaraha Tat Pravibhaga Sanyamat Sarva Bhuta Ruta Jnanam. We have several times discussed Shabda, Artha and Gyan. The external impulse which it comes, the sensation which is produced in the nerves, and the reaction of our buddhi, this is called Shabda, Artha and Gyan. And we were told that normally they are all mixed up. Shabda, Artha, Pratyaya. Instead of Jnana, he has used the word Pratyaya here. Pratyayanam, Itaretara Adhyasa, they become collided with each other. Shabda itself we think it is Jnana. Jnana itself we think it has come from outside. So this is called Adhyasa. Itaretara Adhyasa. Whether it is inside sensation, we do not know. Altogether we are seeing Sankaram. Sankaram is a mixture or confusion. So, confusion or mixture of these three is the normal practice. But due to our concentration, due to our increased attention, that pravibhaga sanyamat, we know them three clearly, differently. And we make a sanyam, dharana, dhyan, samadhi, on this, their difference. We make a sanyam on Shabda separately, Artha separately, Jnana separately, or on the very difference of these three, Pravibhaga Sanyamat. Pravibhaga means divisions. Tat Pravibhag. The divisions of these three, Sanyamat, by Dharana Dhyan Samadhi on that, what we get? Sarva Bhuta Ruta Jnanam. Sarva Bhuta means all the beings. Man, animal, birds, reptiles. Ruta means their sounds. Ruta means Shabda. So, we know what the birds are talking. We know what the cow is telling. We know what. Are we interested in that? And without any of this type of concentration, there was a state in knowledge where Sri Ramakrishna used to understand all the words of all the beings. He has himself described it, not through this practice. In one stage, Patanjali is going to tell us, Pratibhad was sarvam. If we get that Pratibha knowledge, is the get due to purity of mind, if that knowledge comes, all these powers will automatically come to us. And for the proof of this, we have the brilliant example of Sri Ramakrishna, Holy Mother, and all their disciples. So, the knowledge of the meaning of what the animals are talking, what the birds are talking, lizard makes some sound, it has a meaning. Cow bellows in different ways. The dogs bark in different ways. Everything has a meaning. This meaning we are able to understand if we can separate Shabda, Artha and Jnana. If you can separate the impulse, the sensation and the reaction and put our Dharana Dhyan Samadhi on that, we shall be able to know why bother this. It will lead us astray totally. Patanjali is mentioning because the mind goes that side and people do that. And we see many Babas and Boas and Mahatmas showing their miraculous powers. And we feel, oh, wonderful, this Baba is great. That is nothing. From the point of view of further concentration, there is nothing. Now, 18. Sanskar Sakshat Karanat Purva Jati Jnanam. Now the waves have subsided. When the waves subside, they leave impression behind. That is called sanskar. In our own mind, sanskaras of all our past lives are there. No wave goes away. Wave subsides means it goes in a very subtle form or the seed form, leaving an impression on the mind. Now, through concentration, if we can reach this point and see all the impressions of our mind, we know all our past births. A big question arises when we talk of Punarjanma and all that. Does anyone remember that? It is not necessary that we remember everything, but we can remember everything if we can make a sanyam on this sanskara. Purva Jati, that means our birth. Jati is birth here. Purva, previous, Jnanam. We come to know all our previous births if we can make a sanyam on the sanskaras lying deep in our mind. Pratyayasya Parachitta Jnanam, 19. Pratyaya has been translated differently by Vyasa, differently by Swamiji. Swamiji's explanation is better. There are certain signs in others' bodies. We see all body, human bodies. But Sri Ramakrishna used to see, he has described at great length. There is a science called physiognomy. From the body to judge the mind. Mind makes the body. So, we being human beings, there is a similarity in our bodies. But no two persons' bodies are same. So, these different signs appearing on body, that is called pratyaya. And if you can find that, and if you can make a sanyam on that, we will know Parachitta Jnanam. What is in the mind of that? The mental constitution. Para means others, Chitta means the mind stuff. So we shall know what type of mind stuff he possesses by making a concentration on the different signs expressed on his body. Each person is different. Nose, ears, throat, eyes, everything is different. And they reveal what is inside to a man who knows that science. Sri Ramakrishna was perfect in his physiognomy. By Pratibha again. I have seen many people, when they see a man, they judge him immediately. Because the pratyas, the signs on his body are marked. And they can concentrate their mind in a flash and they can see what is his mind made of. Now 20. Nachatat salambanam tasya avishayi bhutatvat. But not tat salambanam. That means mind is thinking of some thoughts at present. Mind has some feelings at present. There are vrittis going on in present. That is called alambana of the mind. The support on which mind is resting, they will not be known. By that sanyama, what will know? The nature of the mind. The general tendency of that mind, but not what is presently going on there. Na cha tat salambanam tasya avishayi bhutatvat. Because that was not the object. Avishayi means non-object. Avishayi bhutatvat. That was not the object of our sanyam. So we will not know that. It means that Swamiji says you will have to make another sanyam. By making sanyam on the bodily signs, you know the mind. Now make a sanyam on his mind. You will know what presently is going on. So, this is 20th. Nacha tat salambanam tasya avishay bhutatvat. That was not the object of our previous concentration. Now, 21. Another miraculous power or other many powers. Kaya rupa sanyamat tad grahya shakti stambhe chakshu prakasha asanyoge antardhanam. Now our body has a form. We are concentrating or making a sanyam on the form of our body. Kaya rupa. Kaya means body, rupa is the form, sanyamat. We are making a sanyam, dharana, dhyan, samadhi on the form of our own body. That grahya shakti stambhe. Grahya shakti means it becomes grahya, object of somebody. Somebody sees our body. Now this power, grahya shakti, the power of somebody is looking at our body. Stambhe means becomes obstructed. If we can concentrate on the form of our own body, it obstructs somebody seeing my body. My body has a power of being an object to somebody. That becomes obstructed. It does not depend upon the other person. It depends upon me. Chakshu prakasha asanyoge. Prakasha means the revelation of my body. And his eyes do not get connected with the expression of my body. What happens? Antardhanam. We became invisible to that person. We became invisible to all persons surrounding us, standing there. Standing there, if we make a sanyam on the form of our body, we become, through this process, that it obstructs body being perceived. So his eyes do not come in touch with the form of my body and I become invisible to him. This leads to many dangerous situations, you know. Somebody became invisible. He became attached. A man became attached to a girl. He entered her room, and then there he revealed himself because he has to talk to that girl. And he was caught there, and then lost his power also, and it was badly punished also, insulted also. Anyway, so if we want to be invisible, suppose for some divine purpose we want to be invisible, but why we want it? So Patanjali says, now vibhutis are coming one after the other. That if we can make a sanyam on the form of our body, the power of its being perceived is obstructed. Others' eyes cannot have contact with my body, and so antardhanam become invisible. 22. Etena shabdadi antardhanam uktam. That means we make a concentration, each word has a form, and we can make a concentration on the form of the word. So word will lose being an object to other people. We are talking, but they will not listen. So, Shabdadi, Sparsha, will touch, but the other person will not know he is touching us. Rupa we already described. Rasa, somebody will not be able to taste, somebody will not be able to smell our body. So he says in this very way, it extends to perception of all the organs. Etena Shabdadi Antardhanam Uktam. We already told the invisibility in a way of Shabda etc. in this very way. Now, 23rd. Sopakramam Nirupakramam cha karma tat sanyamat aparanta jnanam arishtebhyo va. Again, through the sanskara, some karma here means karma phala. Some karma we are exhausted by now. Out of the prarabdha karma, some karmas were exhausted by now. So upakramam, that means which has gone away. Nirupakramam, which has yet to come. Our karmas, cha karma, tat sanyamat. If you can make a sanyam on the karmas which has over and the karmas which are yet to come, we will know the point of our death. Sometimes it is important. We can plan and think of God at that time, but we will forget that. So this is the Andhar Vibhuti. Arishtebhyo. Here again, there are certain signs. Through them also we can know when we will die. Arishta means certain signs. If we can know what are they, we can know when we shall die. Or if we can make a sanyam on what karmas have gone and what karmas are coming, we shall know. Tat sanyamat aparanta jnanam. Aparanta means death is not the final death, na? Again we are born, again we die. So in this aparanta, that means not the final separation of body and mind. Separation of ourselves with this particular body becomes known through this sanyam or through some other signs. 24. Maitradishu balani. Now, qualitative sanyam. Think of the quality called friendship and make a sanyam on this quality called friendship. What will happen? Balani. That means friendship quality will increase 100-fold by concentrating on that. Now here one Adi is used, Maitri Adishu. Maitri has gone in a sentence, if you remember, Maitri Karuna Mudita Upekshana. So if you concentrate Maitri Adi, we must take that sutra. Maitri Karuna Mudita Upekshanam Sukha Dukha Punya Punya Vishayanam Bhavanata Chitta Prasadanam. So whether it is Maitri, whether it is Karuna, whether it is our happiness, whether it is our Upeksha, if we can make a Sanyam on them, then all these qualities or that particular quality will gain tremendous strength in our mind. So that is a Sanyama. Baleshu Hasti Baladini. Because the word Bala has come in the previous sutra, meaning strength of the particular quality. Suppose you want to increase our strength itself, you know how much it can reach. The Pandava Bhim was supposed to have strength of 10,000 elephants. So if you want to increase our physical strength, Asti Baladini, here also Adi is there. You concentrate on elephant's power. If we concentrate on elephant's power, that will come to us. Here also Adi is used. If we concentrate on the lion's power, that will come to us. So when you concentrate, make a sanyam on somebody's power, powerful person's power, that comes to us. That increases our power. Useless. Pravrutti aloka न्यासात सूक्ष्म व्यवहित विप्रकृष्ट ज्ञानम. Pravrutti aloka. If we can remember and open Sutra 136. Vishokava Jyotishmati. Tamaji has explained it there. Think of the lotus of the heart with petals downwards and running through it the Sushumna. Taking the breath, and while throwing the breath out, imagine that the lotus is turned with petals upwards, and inside that lotus is an effulgent light. So this is the Pravrutti Aloka. Pravrutti means effulgent light, natural. Pravrutti is effulgent light means natural, which is already there. There is a light in our heart. If we can perceive that light in our heart and make a sanyama there, what will come to us? Sukshma Vyavahita Viprakrishta Jnanam. Very subtle things we shall be able to know. Now the scientists put microscopes and so many things. Even the subtle things are not visible to our indriyas. But we shall be able to know these subtle things. Vyavahita, certain things are happening at a far distance. Our eyes and ears cannot reach there. But if you can make a sanyam on the light in our own heart, we shall come to know everything which is happening even at a distance. And viprakrishta means obstructed from, not very great distance. But suppose there is a screen between you and me, I cannot see you. But if I make a sanyam on the light of my heart, I will be able to see you. So what is happening in the next room, what is happening here and there, we shall be able to see by this sanyama on the light of our own hearts. So the things sukshma also can be seen, the things far off also can be seen, not only seen, heard and everything. And the things obstructed from our normal vision or hearing can also be known and heard. 27. Bhuvana Jnanam Surya Sanyama. Now, how to make a Sanyam on Surya? But if you can make a Sanyam on Surya, you shall know the knowledge of the universe. Surya is taken as the one light in the universe. And if we can make a Sanyam on the sun, we shall know the entire universe. Chandre Tara Vivajnanam. If you can make a Sanyam on the moon, we shall know all the heavenly bodies. Tara view. View means the configuration, the arrangement of all the taras, the stars. We shall know just by concentrating, making a Sanyam on the moon. Dhruve Tadgati Jnanam. Dhruva is the pole star, North Pole star. How the Australians will do, I do not know. There is no South Pole star. But in the northern hemisphere, we know there is a North Pole star. And the whole world, mind you, we say sometimes Earth moves around the sun, sometimes we say sun moves around the Earth. All our system is moving around that North Pole star. So if you can make a Sanyam on the North Pole star, we shall the movement of the stars. Surya Sanyam will reveal the whole world. Chandra Sanyam will reveal the different stars. Sanyam on the Dhruva will reveal the motion of the stars. Dhruve tad gati jnanam. Nabi chakre kaya viva jnanam. In our navel, inside the navel, there is a chakra in the yogi's language. It belongs to the central body. There is no actual wheel there. But through the Kundalini, in the Sushumna, at the Nabi point, there is a chakra. Sometimes described as a lotus, sometimes a chakra. Now, if we can concentrate, first you have to perceive that and then concentrate on that Nabi chakra. Kaya Viva Jnanam. We shall know the arrangement of our body. How our body is arranged. Feet, hands, legs, anatomy or physiology. We shall come to know anatomy of entire body by concentrating on the chakra which is inside our navel. Now another wonderful miracle, military people should learn this. Kantha Kupe Kshut Pipasa Nivrutti. Kantha Kup, below our throat, there is some well-like pit. If we can make a Sanyam there, hunger and thirst will subside. Now, hunger and thirst is a different thing. Need of the body is a different thing, remember. That means if you do not take food for a long time, you will not feel hunger or thirst, but the body will decay. But temporarily, suppose a man is fighting a war and he does not have food. He has no food supply. I heard in military some of these things are taught. That if you concentrate here, you will not feel hunger and thirst. You can fight on. So, it does not remove the need of food or drink. But for the time being, we do not feel hunger or thirst. If we can concentrate on the pit below our throat. Kantha Kupe, Shut means hunger, Pipasa is thirst, Nivrutti means removal. It removes hungers and thirst if we concentrate here. Kurma Nadyam Sthiryam. Now, where is this Kurma Nadi? Within our body, there are different nerves. And there is a nerve which supports the entire body. That is called Kurma Nadi. Kurma means tortoise. You know the Samudra Manthan story? Bhagavan had to take the form of a tortoise. On that they kept the mountain and churned the ocean. So tortoise is a strong support. Similar to that, there is a nerve in our body which is the support of the body. Now, by previous Sanyam, we have come to know the arrangement of the body. So, we find out the Kurma Nadi. And if you make a Sanyam on that Kurma Nadi, Sthiryam, that means body becomes unmoved, unshaken. If we want that we should sit for meditation first you have to find out this. And if you practice Sanyam on the Kurma Nadi, we get the fixity of the body. Murda Jyotishi Siddha Darshanam. We are talking the light in the heart. Now we are talking a light on the head. Murda. There is a light emanating from the top of our head. We do not know. If we can, it is a subtle thing. So if we can perceive that, and if you can make a sanyam on that, then Siddha Darshanam. Siddha is a class of people. Siddha is, literally it means perfected people, but there is a class of beings higher than us. They are called Siddhas. Now, they are here in this very world. In this world, many beings are there. But being of a different order, we do not see them. Gandharvas and gods and all, they are here. But we cannot see them because their vibrations and everything is different. But if we can concentrate on the light emanating from our body, make a sanyam there, we shall see the class of people called Siddhas. Now comes Shloka, Sutra 34. Pratibhadva Sarvam. Patanjali is a textbook writer. His vision is universal, though he has not practiced everything. But whatever he has seen, just like Ishvara Pranidhana Samadhi Siddhi, here he is telling, if you can get the Pratibha knowledge, normally we equate this word Pratibha with genius. But Pratibha is a special knowledge which we gain simply by purity of the mind, not by any concentration. Now, what is purity? The less the desires for enjoyment, the more pure we are. That is the definition. Definition of purity, our normal life, I am talking from Vedantic point of view now. Our normal life, we are subject enjoying the objects of life. If this desire to enjoy the objects, that is what makes us impure. Now suppose we gain purity by devotion to God, by knowledge, that Patanjali is not telling how. But our desires become less. Not that we become a wall. Our perceptions are very keen. But we are approaching God. We are nearing God, who is beyond this subject-object division. So as we approach God, in our consciousness, our desires become less and less and less. And when the purity is sufficiently there, we get knowledge. Tremendous knowledge, supersensuous knowledge. That is called Pratibha. Pratibha means through Pratibha knowledge. Through Pratibha knowledge. So through Pratibha knowledge, Sarvam. Sarvam means all these powers described up till now are available to the pure mind. We see these things. Again, I repeat, in Shri Ram Krishna, in Sarda Devi, in Swami Vivekananda, Sri Ramakrishna's all the disciples, all the Brahmajna Purushas, we see they have all the miraculous powers in them because their mind is absolutely pure. So Patanjali says, as he cancelled all concentrations and told Ishvara Purnidhanadva Samadhi Siddhi, similarly he is telling that if you get knowledge by the lessening or vanishing of the impurities of the mind, you get a knowledge called genius, Prativa. And through that, you get all the powers described up till now. That is the 34th Sutra. We proceed a little. Hridaye Chitta Samvid. We concentrate on our own heart. We were told of a vibhuti by which we know the mind of a particular person. But if we can concentrate on our own heart, we know all the minds of the world. Chitta Samvit. Samvit means knowledge. Chitta means mind stuff. In general, again I will refer to Sri Ramakrishna. He used to say, normal life. He used to say, you are all sitting. What do I see? I see all your minds. Just like things kept in a glass case, I see all the things in your mind. But I do not tell them, he says, because you will feel sorry for it. So, you can know all the minds by concentrating on your own heart, making a sanyam on your own heart. Here, let me tell something more. Heart is different, mind is different. Please remember. Mind has emotions. And my Guruji used to tell, emotions are biological. Heart is the depth where I feel God. Heart is actually meant for my union with God. All the scriptures tell us, where do we find God? In your own heart. And they say, in the cave of your heart. And that is why the normal meditation not Patanjali's, huh? The Bhakti Yogi's meditation is asked to meditate on the form of God he likes within his own heart. Let me elaborate a little more on what is this heart. Now, the starting point of spiritual life is I consciousness. I am talking a little with the help of Taittiriya Upanishad. What am I? The first gross feeling is I am the body. But then I understand I am not the body. I am my indriyas. Body is a place like house where the indriyas stay and react with the world. So I am my indriyas. They are called pranas. I am my indriyas staying in the body. Then I understand I am not the indriyas. I am the mind. Mind through the indriyas, through the body, works on the outside world. So I am the mind. Then little more insight. Mind has no knowledge, no. Mind has no consciousness. But behind the mind, inside the mind, there is a I consciousness. I am so and so. We have the I consciousness or not? I will use one example given by Swami Vivekananda. An ant is crawling on a railway track and a big gigantic engine is coming on the railway track. What does the ant do? It crawls down to safety. What is the reference? Swamiji is asking. The ant knows I am. What it calls itself, we do not know. We call it ant. But it is a being. And the ant knows I am a being. The engine does not know. The robots would not know. The computers would not know. So, this I sense, I knowledge, I consciousness, I know that I am that. Then this I consciousness uses the mind and the indriyas and the body to react outside. But suppose it does not want that. It wants to find what is my source. What is the source of this I consciousness? It is not a Swayambhu. It is not self-existent one. A small example let us have. The old style bulbs, filament bulbs. Suppose the room is dark. I switch on and I see light in the room. Without looking at the bulb, I say the bulb has given light. Look at the bulb. Where is the light? Light is in the filament. Bulb is like a catchment area. It has caught the light of the filament and given to the room. This is the position of I consciousness. Light is only with one consciousness called God. Patanjali does not know it. Patanjali thinks each being has his own consciousness. Each being has only reflection of that consciousness. Or as I am telling you, like the catchment area. About the reflection also, another example I give. A big hall is there, and we have made hundreds of cabins in the hall. Engineer, doctor, they all have their offices there. And the partitions making the cabins do not go right up to the roof. On the roof, I have kept powerful focus lights. No light in any cabin. The walls of the cabin are made with mirrors. Each cabin has light, but each cabin does not know what is in the next cabin. This light reflected by the mirrors is our I consciousness. And the source of all I consciousnesses is the light on the roof. That is God. Now, this I consciousness wants to know its source. Mind you, that is the start of spiritual life. Mind and all that is outside. Unless I know that I means I consciousness. And this I consciousness first you have to find out. And then this I consciousness turns inside. That is meditation according to Vedanta. To find its own source, the I consciousness turns inside. And what he finds? Union with God. More inside, he'll find more union with God. A devotee may feel, I am his devotee. A jnani may feel, I am near him. The Vishishtadvaitis may feel, I am a part of him. But the moment you become united with God, in small or big degree, you get joy. You get anandam there. The union with God gives joy. This is called the heart. Heart is that place through which you travel. This I consciousness is like at the door of that cave. I consciousness is a reflection of that consciousness and it is obstructing my vision of God. But this I consciousness itself starts to find from where my light is coming. And the first response will be joy and joy and joy. Why the bhaktas singing about God get joy? Because their mind gets connected with God. Why the jnanis by meditation feel God, feel joy? Because their mind is connected with God. In the Shiva Mahimna Stotra, there is a beautiful shloka that meditating on you, tears are flowing, tears of joy are flowing, and there is a vibration, kampan throughout the body, shivering of the body. Hair stand on end. So much joy is coming. That you are. Shiva means your own real nature here. That you are. Concentrating or meditating on whom, we get so much joy. So, I think I explained to you what is heart. Heart is the place where I consciousness meets its source. So here, you see, tears started coming my eyes now. Just by thinking of this point, just by talking of this point, I feel joy. Hridaye Chitta Samvid. Now Patanjali is using it for a different purpose. He says, if you concentrate on your heart, you know all the minds of all the people. I want to know myself. I am not interested in all the minds of all the people. But sometimes it may be useful. So, Hridaye Chitta Samvid. Enough for the day. Huh? We have read 35 sutras. Starting from Sutra 13 to 35. That means we are at 23 sutras today. Om Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacha Malam Sharirasya Cha Vaidyakena Yopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjaliranatosmi. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Tat Sat. Shri Ramakrishna Arpanamastu.